Homo Deus, A Brief History of Tomorrow is a book written by Yuval Noah Harari. And I was introduced to this book by the internet, you could say. And I listened to this book, and he also wrote other books like A Brief History of Humankind, Sapiens, and Homo Deus, and also Lessons for the 21st Century. And all these books follow a similar concept. It's a concept that ideas are the one thing, cultural ideas, concepts, the concept of having things that are not real, the concept of, for example, a legal entity, are the things that of course, sponsored by our brain and by our intelligence, are the things that make us extraordinary compared to other living beings. And in Homo Deus, actually, he tries to bring this point into the future. Now, the question is, obviously, how will things turn out in the future? Nobody can really answer it. Nevertheless, he tries to make predictions. And one of these predictions is big data and the impact big data will have, maybe also artificial intelligence. And if you think, for example, about how big data will influence areas like health, where to this day already to this day, there are specific areas where computers are better at making correct diagnoses than doctors, then that tells you something about the future. Because at this point in time, we don't really have much health data, and it's often just the amount of thinking that goes into a diagnosis, and the amount of thinking that has to go into doing an operation or not doing an operation, or maybe also preventing diseases in the further future, is just very heavy. And often, for example, doctors just don't really understand Bayesian mathematics or Bayesian likelihood. And that's a problem. That's not particularly a problem he talks about in the book, but that's a problem that is then tackled by something that is maybe a specific intelligence or a general artificial intelligence. And also, there is obviously but there is the risk of someone abusing the new gained powers of big data, for example, where you then can nudge people. It is a book by Richard Taylor and Carl and Sunstein. I don't know the first name of Richard Taylor. No, it's Richard Taylor, Cass Sunstein. And if you think about how easily you then can nudge people into different directions, for example, with a few Facebook likes, you are better than acquaintances you have at judging. You're better than an acquaintance of a person at judging or predicting what a person will do next. And with a few hundred, you're better than the best person. So you as a algorithm or as a predicting machine are better than the person that knows the other person best. So the subject best. And that's kind of scary, but that also tells you again something about what is actually possible with big data. Basically, we are computers. We are organic computers, and every living being is also just another organic computer. It's a survival machine, and with the intent to increase or maximize the chance of making or bringing these genes we all inhabit into the next generation of our population or species. And if you take all these different aspects and try to combine them, then the Homo Deus, or the book Homo Deus, is something you end up with. It was a very enjoyable book. It's probably among the 25 books that impacted my life up to this point, or impacted how I see the world the most. And for this reason, I think it deserves 4 or even 5 stars.